Thank you very much for the very nice discussions we had in the two groups. If it's okay for you now, and we will finish there for today. Just a quick wrap up and conclusion from Catherine and from me. Like 5-7 minutes for each of us. We will not repeat everything. Like this, you are informed of what's happening in the other group. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Antoine. So just to refresh your memory, we were going to talk about teacher trainings, about curriculum development, where also it's an idea to train teachers in trainings through the material, to teachers in training. Then a special project was proposed and also presented by Jean-Pierre. We mentioned CANSAT preparations again, because in Flanders we look for an expert. Then space and citizen science and the communication strategy. So for the teacher trainings, we discussed that how we will do it. We did it last school year, how we will continue this year. So as an example, Vito will again offer trainings at various locations. Last year we had it in 2 locations. Probably we will do more if Jürgen is up to it this year, and also to look at existing material and see also make that ready for the Flemish curriculum. We already shared the existing material from the Netherlands, but Evelyn has already looked at how it would work in Flanders. Then combined trainings, also, for example, of Vito with University College Leuven-Limburg, because they also offer professional development training courses. We also pointed out that there is a specific budget per training available. Usually in Flanders, probably generally in Belgium, what works are half-day trainings. So we also discussed about a co-funding vision, some in-kind from the place offering the training, because that doesn't cover everything. Then a question was raised, or an issue, reaching the teachers is not always easy, but I think with our improved communication strategy, we will only do better from now on. A concern was raised, an important one, that is that the planning calendars of ESERO does not match with the academic or the school year, and that for some institutions this really makes the staff distribution budget very difficult. So that's just something to keep in mind. And for example, for KDG, this makes that we cannot do it for the next school year, but we'll start again the school year after, because the timing was off. Curriculum development then. We decided that it's good to focus on a manageable number of topics. For this year, Estro PI resources will come out by Karel de Grote Hogeschool. We will also focus on the material accompanying the SSVI in a box program, because that works for different age groups. So we would work with at least 3 packages that fits each of the age groups. In a collaboration scheme, so we have people in our group who are interested in contributing, and we'll do that also in a co-creation scheme, so we will get continuous feedback by teachers who are actually trying out the material that is being developed during this school year. Also UCL suggested some topics that are actually also in parallel or that work well for use with this telescope. So we will follow up on that and look together at how to continue. So we will have this feedback network. Then Jean-Pierre presented the telescopes and explained how they work, and that raised other questions. For example, if we are going to develop it, how to link this with new STEM guidelines. We decided that we will feedback to each other, because UCLL, for example, has expertise on what is in the new STEM guidelines. They are brand new, and that will also help, for example, Evelyn with her thesis, because in the course of her thesis, she will really contribute to one of these lesson packages. Also, we can look at ESERO material from other ESEROs, like the Netherlands, UK, Nordic, because it doesn't make sense to reinvent the wheel on certain topics that are, for example, going to be used to accompany the telescope in the classroom. the question was raised whether there is a house style for ESERO material. Cathy mentioned that ESERO Belgium is working on a modernized style for this, so we will use that, even if we translate existing material and adapt it to the local curriculum guidelines. Rebecca also mentioned that there is a crediting system for the original makers of the material. So we will collaborate between them, UCLL, Hans Bekart also, who is a teacher and who also is the communication person of the Flemish organization for science teachers. He will also give his input and feedback, and then from the University of Antwerp there will be Evelyn also in this team of people, and I'll be part of it as well. Then for CANSAT we launched the call, so we already sent around this call. We hope to get a reaction soon, and we'll keep you posted. Then we discussed two projects that are being developed currently in parallel with ESERO, but we also raised the question, is there a link that can be made with ESERO? Can, for example, some of the lesson material that is developed in the framework of Astro Sounds or the Meteor Search program be linked with ESERO or become ESERO material? Comment was made that some of these projects really trigger the imagination. They also answer like the need for more creative STEM projects, which are then called STEAM projects, cross-curricular projects that work very well, especially in primary education, because there you have all the subjects together. But also there's a growing need for that in secondary education. Then finally, an important one that we did in the last few minutes, the communication strategy, social media, audiovisual material. So Cathy mentioned that we will now also do national planning of events. So rather than doing a STEM Day for Space in Flanders, we'll do a national one this year. We'll pin the date as soon as possible. We will discuss within the group how to even better plan Facebook publications. I think we've been doing very well lately, but fact is we have a lot of material that hasn't even been shown yet, so we can still show a lot more. We also discussed within our group that so many people are in touch with different schools and groups that we will collaborate in communication. For example, if one public observatory organizes something, we will also announce it through ESERO, and it can happen vice versa, because we just want to get more people to any space-related event. Also, the presence of ESERO in STEM fairs can and will be increased. UCLL was managing a very important Flemish network for STEM education for secondary schools, so they can help communicate. And the same counts for the Vereniging Leerkrachten Wetenschappen, this association of Flemish teachers of sciences. And they will send out a newsletter in the second half of September, and will mention ESERO there too. There will also be an EOS article that has ESERO as a topic and ESERO activities in the course of the next few months. So as for the video material, because we have Mark van den Brande here, who is one of the people who makes videos for us, we ask a question, what format is needed? Is there a specific format, or can it be any specific format as long as it speaks about ESERO and ESERO material? So and that's where we settled. And that's what we discussed. So maybe I forgot some things. Are there any additions or comments?
Did you discuss the other, for example, challenges that there are, for example, climate detectives or something else to promote it in Flanders?
Yeah, because we actually didn't do that. It should have been an item on this. But climate detectives, we were not active in Flanders on it last year, but there is definitely a very big opportunity to do that now. And today we had people of Bira here. Exactly. They are actually the right experts to put in touch. So that is, they left, they had to go this afternoon, so that's why we didn't plan it
I think
now in the
maybe
discussion.
There are a few points that I think, because okay, the money is not much, but I think there are competitions and that would just need a partner that would be interested, for example, in translating the resource and giving support to the teams.
Yeah,
And then actually the projects are completely open. The only requirements to use Earth observation data can be Belgium Earth observation data.
Yeah.
So I think it's very interesting for the country because there's a very national component
Yeah.
to look at the national aspect. So
yeah,
maybe there are things that we can still send as a follow-up on
Yeah.
the meeting ideas if someone wants to take it over.
yeah,
Because these are really very open projects.
yeah,
There is not like you have to do it like that. It's like find a like climate detectors. For those that don't know, it's really competition that is asking the students to identify a problem national related to climate, whatever the soil, the atmosphere, anything that they can see, and use satellite data, image or data, to understand better the problem and come with ideas of solutions. And this is very interesting, I think, for Belgium, for your strategy.
mhm.
And doesn't really require, I mean, it can be used for the institutes to also push on their side.
Yeah,
There's no,
that's right. Yeah, Vito, Bira, I think that would be a nice.
I know that last year we got a question from the balloon part
Yeah.
to support one of those classes, and I passed it on to a colleague of mine who did do the support.
support. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think more the competition is not, I think it's not because it's a competition, but I think it's a good way for teachers to get a project where they can really encourage the students to develop some of the 21st century skills and have the national component. So I think for you it's very interesting. To
Yeah.
even some, I mean, it doesn't require a lot of money because in the end it's just to follow the teams.
Yeah.
And we can see on the model that is not so costly for, let's say,
Yeah.
for budget only. So
Yeah, yeah.
real benefits, national benefits. So I think I would say the others are more, we can promote the others now in the Flemish community, like the Mooncamp, but they don't require so
Yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
national
Yeah.
support.
Right, and of course Asgaard is continuing, Kansat is happening, so these we will support, that's already been decided. But it's true that for climate detectives, I think we need to now make an effort to announce it and to really make sure that we have availability of scientists, and they are there here at Bira. So I think maybe in the next newsletter we can mention specifically also this project as one.
And explain what would be the benefit for Belgium, because I think I like this project because it's very national focus. I mean, it's an European project, but all the students are interested in their local programs, so it's very nice. I've seen what was done in other countries, and I can really recommend, because for the country has a lot of value and it's very inspirational for other students that can recognize the local programs and can be inspired to research more about an aspect. You have so much expertise here,
Yeah, absolutely.
so we don't
Yeah.
need to look somewhere
Yeah,
else.
and it nicely links with some of the competitions, like Kansat and Asgaard, it really links with it. So
Yes, exactly.
So
I mean,
I
you can
think
link
it's,
it.
yeah.
Actually, you could link it.
we will do that. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. So I do the same exercise but without slides. I'm the old style. So for us, we had a conversation about two topics. The first one was the coaching and then the resources. The two topics are completely related, as of course we do the coaching with based on the resources that we have. So about the coaching, a few comments shared by the group. I think it's interesting to share it also with you to take into account in the three communities when we have relations with the schools. First, Etienne explained a little bit how he did in the schools in the German-speaking community. So this is a model that we could reuse in the other communities or adapt at least as the size of the community is not the same. But at least it's to go step by step, and as Alain-Yves also mentioned, to identify the needs of the school, to present what we do, what we can offer, and to find the match between what the needs of the school and what we can offer. it's also the question to be careful, and I think that for Flanders it will also be the same, that we cannot visit all the schools of the community. In the German-speaking community, okay, this is possible in a few months. In Flanders, I have doubts that Catherine will visit all the schools in the next months. It will be a challenge. So maybe to work with the schools with interested and the interest that we receive directly from the teachers. We know that it works because Cathy is already working like this. We mentioned also the importance to take care of the scientific approach, the methodology, the pedagogy in what we do, and to focus mostly on that. So it means to coach the teachers and to show them not only to use a protocol in a document, but also and mostly to how to teach science. This is really the occasion to help them, mostly at primary level. And we will start, this is already in the activity plan for the next months, but this is important for the network to focus on the very young ones, so from 3 years old to 6, and to develop now activities for them. This is not the case at all for the moment, so we will work on that, and this is already planned for the moment. With Michel, we also insisted on the fact that the space teachers are of course important, and the Eurospace Society also in this network can really help. This is already the case with Jean-Pierre, with Eric, and the network, and we work more and more with all of you. So we will of course continue and see how we can also support the space teachers, include them maybe in the coaching system, and at least share with them what we do, the resources, and update them maybe when it's needed on some topics. That's it for that. Yes, Véronique insisted on one thing, and this is important, and this is maybe the art of the coaching system, is the contact with the teachers. The digital world is very nice, but that we have to also to focus on the contact with them, and to be present in the schools. This is really also the philosophy of this approach. So we will insist on that. Then we went to the question of sorry if I forget some things, but I think this is the main message. Then we went to the resources, and I distributed a few examples of ESERO resources that we have already on the website. The same resources are in the 3 languages almost for the moment. So I think the comments can be really relevant for the 3 communities. So what do we do with it? What's the job that we have to plan to adapt it? Not only the translation, of course. And there, we have different conclusions. First of all, to make sure that this is not only a protocol, but that this is really a scientific approach, and with an investigation to make sure that the kids and the teenager will understand what they do, of course, and that also for the teachers, this is not only a clé sur porte activity that they can just print and go in the classroom 2 minutes after that and deliver it, but they have also to be involved in what they do, and to adapt it for themselves, like we do it for the community, but that they have also to adapt it for themselves. So very nice also conclusion, and I think we will try to do it, Cathy, for the 3 communities, is to publish the resources in the very nice layout. We all like this one, or the one that we did in the last weeks, but also to have the text file. In Word, or but a very basic file with only the text, like this. If the teachers would like to reuse it, they can do it. And an idea from Michel that we could even ask to the teachers to share with us what they did with the resources or with the text. Like this, we can collect improvements and these kind of things, and at least new ideas of what to do, for instance, with this.
I mean, if they authorize, you can even publish it in the website, like ideas of teachers to extend activities or to improve.
Yes. like this, the idea is also to start to gather a community of teachers in the 3 communities working on with the ESERO resources, and maybe to increase like that the network of space teachers, because this is at the end also the idea of the space teachers. We don't do a huge recruitment of space teachers, but just like this, they will start to work on it, and they will become by definition a space teacher when they will do that. So this is for the resources, yes, and also something that we would like to do in the work that we do in the adaptation and improvement of the resources is to have extra sections in the documents to give ideas to the teachers on how to use it differently. For instance, for the primary level, you would like to use this resource not only about science, but mathematics. Then you can do this, and that. We don't need to develop all the resources for them, but at least to give ideas, to give comments, and this kind of extra sections also about maybe methodology and pedagogy to go further, and about also the scientific content, of course. I think that's it for that. Yes, and with Muriel for CanSat, we had also some points here. Is that for the training workshop that we organize all together in November, we will do a session about the available resources for the teachers, because this is also coming from Etienne. This is more for the moment extra curricular, or they do it not only during the lessons but also in extra time. With this kind of resources, if it's adapted and if it's ready, they could see that this is possible to do a physics lesson with the parachute, for instance. If it's not the case for the moment, and like this, they will see that CanSat can be really in the classroom and not an extra project. So we will do that during the workshop, a session to present the available resources and also to collect the comments from the teachers. This we plan it, and I think that's it. Sorry if guys, if I forgot something, just you can mention it, but I think this is it. Okay, and that's it for the second group. Thank you very much. Do you have some comments, questions, something that you would like to share with the others? Yes, Muriel. In French or in Dutch or in English or the 3 languages together, we will understand.
Do you have the list of the participants?
Yes, we have the list.
With
We have the list.
emails or something like that?
Is it okay? Maybe I don't know if it's okay for you. We can share the list of participants with the emails.
My card too.
Yes. Is it okay for you if we do that this week? We send the emails. Okay. Yes. So the emails, the presentations. Okay, we share it. Something else that you would like to receive from us? I don't think it's. You did maybe some actions. Yes, of course you will receive a lot. Maybe some conclusions about what we do. The next steps, of course, you will receive news from Cathy, from me, from Catherine, and the others in the team in the next days and weeks to make sure that we take actions now. Catherine, yes.
Yeah, I think there were some starting ideas of, for example, a working group to focus on specific curriculum developments. I think it's important to have people from ESA in the loop as well, so you can, as we go, give feedback on if this is what is needed.
Yes. We can help for sure. I think also depending on the themes. For example, we have another person now working on ESERO. It was not here today. Jose is very specialized in Earth observation curriculum and astronomy. So if you need like that, it could be part of the meeting in English. But of course, for sure, it will be very interesting. And I think always to think as this, like you mentioned in your presentation, you mentioned, Catherine, as these projects and competitions that we do, the aim is really to gain, and also another person also mentioned, to gain these additional skills, additional knowledge, cross-curricular. So they are not fixed, and the idea is that each country exploits it a bit its own way. So we have that in mind and try to exploit that in a way that serves the Belgian community, of course.
Anyway, we are also involved in the ESERO working groups, and we have also
Now they
Yes.
all started.
it's moving. Yes. Okay, other comments? Maybe one question: was it what you were expecting from today? Are you happy with the day and with the conclusion of it and the meeting with all the others? Yes? Okay. You can say no, but if you have suggestions that you don't want to share in front of everybody, don't hesitate to send it by email. Maybe one idea that we had, as we see the interest that you have for the work of Jean-Pierre, is maybe for the next editions to plan specific moments on some tools or some good ideas like you do at ESA for the workshops with teachers, this kind of things.
For the workshops of the ESERO.
Or the ESERO, yes.
I think it's good also, I think it was very good. We can next time maybe choose one or two things that we really train the participants as knowledge, you want to take it or just to understand, because for example the spacecraft material kits, this is primary. If you have 1 hour to get familiar with it, you will be able to understand, but maybe to lose 1 hour for everyone was too much, but we can think about of other topics that someone wants to share. I think it's also a learning experience for all of us to hear about things, so to be taken from there. But I think it's very good that people know each other, the faces, and we hear from each other. People know who is behind each project, so if you know people that want to join. Also. Yes,
of course. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a safe trip back, and we are in touch in the next days. Thank you.